So what I thought I would do today, rather than go element by element, because our elements don't have new names, is maybe do a little show and tell with you. Because I think the most important thing we can do as the largest grant recipient in the state is report back to you what we got done. So if you look in your folder, one of the first covers will be a report of our results from our current grant, 2 grants that we've still that we've been working off of. So if you look at our major goals, we probably do less advertising proportionately than the most of the rest of the grant recipients, because our job is really to book business, to really be aggressive, to go out and do programs that lead to actual bookings of room nights, where everybody else's image or job may be more creating image, and certainly the state does that for us. But if you look at the one sheet in there that that has the results of our efforts, you'll see that we made, and there's 2 columns. We tried to report 2008 year end and then year to date for 2009, so you can kind of see the comparisons there. Bottom line for us is that we, excuse me, we had 204 bids, and I just want to share with you a little bit about what bids are. I think there's been some conversation about that we did in the South Side American Travel Writers, and we customized every bid, just kind of passed it around, just to share with you that we know as a destination competing with every other city who hosts meetings that we got to try a little bit harder. So just wanted to share with you how we do bids. We were successful in booking 172 groups last year. So far this year we've booked 58 groups. And the most important part of this whole report is probably that last year we booked, and what we count is what we've touched, what we've contracted, what we've bid, what we've really worked on bringing in, 88,537 room nights that we could account for. So far this year we've booked 17,131 room nights. Our goal, which we absolutely, positively have to achieve, is to book a minimum 75,000 room nights a year, contracted room nights. Some of the other things that we do under our marketing element include the bids, site visit, promotions, those kinds of things that lead us to booking business. Also under the marketing element, we've put a number of more niche markets. We have sports marketing under the marketing element because it's a different marketplace. It costs a different amount of money. It's major events. And what I have to share with you in our community, we've had certainly the revenue's down some. I don't think it's all because of decreased demand. I think it's because we had growth in inventory without new growth in demand. What we had is about a 20% increase in inventory right at the time the economy got soft. So part of the revenue reflection is negotiable rates. Clearly, that totally affects the room tax. And so I don't think we've seen that dramatic an decrease in demand, but we have seen a lot more inventory without a whole lot of new demand. So I think that's just something that really pushes us to the sports market, which really tends to consume rooms across the whole city. So we've really put a lot of effort into major events. One of the notes you'll notice on our report is that Terry, who's our director of sales, has not included her note under the excuse me, the bookings this year. Says it doesn't include the Far West Regional Soccer. Occasionally you get really lucky and book something that's a really big hit. Far West Regional Soccer for us in 2011 will bring 28,000 room nights, but it really sort of distorts the picture and says, you know, we're really being more aggressive this year just because of that one big hit. So we will report it ultimately, but so that you see where we were in the normal trend of business, we left that out in the numbers. Under our other marketing programs, we do a direct mail every year, and I just brought some examples to share with you. Our direct mail this year, and I think there's some on the table, is a perpetual calendar, and if you look at it, every day you turn it over, it has a different Boise News message. On the 1st of January, Boise is usually captivating and friendly, and every day the message resonates, and hopefully our customers all have it sitting on their desks. The point of direct mail for us is to gather information. So the follow-up piece to that gave you all a little notebook that you can carry home with you. That was attached to a card asking for their meetings information and asked them to enter into the drawing. Because it was a calendar, what they would win is an Idaho gift every month delivered to their front door. You know, I'd like to tell you that the drawing was fair, but it always seems to go to somebody who's very likely to book business. All of our pieces, as you can see, are built around our current theme about all the things Boise is, and that message for us has worked really, really well. So all of those marketing programs lead to the bottom line for us to be able to come back to you and tell you that we've booked a certain amount of a certain amount of business. Fam trips are big for us. I think sitting on the table, here's a copy of our fam trip invitation. Add 3 pieces. I'd encourage you to read them because we tried to attract people through humor, encouraging them to send their information to us and plan to attend fam trips. Fam trips for us are 2 things. They're exposure to people who have not been to our community, don't know what to expect, and they're a way to show our local community how we sell and show our board and involve the the participation of our board in those programs we do. So that's kind of our report on fam trips and on direct mail. The next category in our grant is going to be advertising. I think that you'll find in your packet a list of or in your grant application, a list of sort of how we would divide that between meetings, markets, and we don't do a lot on leisure because what our real goal is to not duplicate the efforts of the council and the state by advertising in the travel planner and trying to drive people both to our 800 number and our website through our ads in the state travel guide rather than duplicating those efforts. What we do advertise is very focused. If we do meetings advertising, it's going to be really backing up a particular meeting that we might be at, where we're going to be urging people to visit us in our travel booth. So that's kind of how we try to. The advertising, I think it's a phenomena today. You got to do hard copy, you got to do online, you got to do all of the social media. Our challenge, I think, or my challenge anyway, is identifying how you use social media and build in social accountability so that we don't get caught in things that are challenging or inappropriate. So we do have a Twitter. Ms. McConnell in our office, somewhere here, is our Twitterer. On our redesign of our web, we'll have a blog. But again, we want to be really careful because, you know, convention bureaus are interesting. They're marketing organizations with no product. You know, we don't own any rooms, we don't own any product, we don't deliver any service, we just promise everything. So we have to be really careful when we're out there sending out messages that somebody can deliver on what we're talking about. So I think we have a real accountability issue, and we're trying to be really, really careful about that. In our grant, under communications, communications are all of the collateral material that we do, everything we use for communications. I did put in your packet our RAC brochure. We do one of these every 5 years, whether we need to or not. It's kind of an interesting concept, all in line with our new Boise Is program. And just sort of for chuckles, I put in our 101 answers to the 101 most asked questions about Boise, and it used to be 100. Actually, it's 104. It used to be 101, and when we updated it, golly, we had 104. So we first spent an inordinate amount of time saying which 3 do we take out, and then we thought, oh well, why not 104? So anyway, this is a piece that sent out in answer to inquiry from kids doing reports. Anybody that really wants to know some of the underground, it's amazing how many people really want this 104 answers to 104 questions. We've also, in your book you'll see a list of some of the articles about Boise that have been in the news, thanks to Lori in our communications department working with travel writers, responding to it, and having good press kits. So that's another success for us. I also think you'll find in there a fam trip itinerary, which will show you how we do fam trips, how organized they are, how we involve the community in getting those done.